Hi, good evening. How are you doing today? Yesterday, I'd spoken a little about Bloom's taxonomy or learning taxonomy, and today I continue that. Before that, let me come back to my uh, favorite exercise to you and the request to you to be talking to your friends, relatives, colleagues, and neighbors on what their perceptions of the current reality or the reality would be of people to people interactions post COVID lockdown. I still say post COVID lockdown because in some places the lockdown is not fully lifted. And what you believe their perception of the reality of people to people interactions post COVID lockdown would be, and what would be the commonalities and what have been the differences. Try to look at them and then try to start a dialogue with them to evolve a collective mindset. This, I've been saying, is the first exercise to understand and to learn building a collective mindset, which is possibly one of the most important success factors for anybody in their work and life. uh, why is the collective mindset and why is the understanding of mindset required? It's mainly because what we do, where we do, is directly depending on the mindset, and the mindset is driven by our memories, experiences, and that's how our subconscious drives us to do various activities. And whatever we do, it has to be done through our subconscious, through our memories and experiences. When you do that exercise, you create a new experience, create a new emotion, and that would then guide you. That would then be used by your subconscious to guide you to be a better person in the coming days. A better person, I said, not a good person. Even the best person can become a better person. So I'm not really telling that there are anybody who is not good. Everybody is good, but you can become a better person. So now let me start off where I stopped yesterday. Yesterday I was talking about Bloom's taxonomy, and I spoke about the 5 levels of the affective domain, which are receiving, responding, valuing, uh, then organizing, and finally internalizing. So yesterday I had left at uh, responding, which is basically how we are responding or to any impulse that we had in our mind and in our body, and what our effects or feelings were when we responded to that topic. It could be responding to a question, responding to a request, responding to somebody pushing you, and when you responded, what kind of a feeling you had, and to really think of that feeling consciously is all about the learning in the affective domain. First was receiving, then responding, and now we talk about valuing. What is about all about valuing? I briefly touched upon that yesterday, but now I would like to elaborate a little more on that. Valuing is very simple. See, I felt very nice today when I ate a chocolate, for example. So eating a chocolate was nice to me. I felt very happy. The taste was good, and the feeling was good. And that's the response which I gave for my desire or for my impulse to eat a chocolate. Now, that response which I gave got reinforced in my brain to say that, look, eating a chocolate is going to be good. So it's quite tasty. Therefore, next time when I see a chocolate, I feel like eating it. As simple as that. Now, the question is, how do you value that? That feeling which you had was good, damn good, it was outstanding. But is that of any value for you? How do you check whether it is of any value to you or not? That is done by looking at your purpose. I spoke of that also briefly yesterday. And how do you define your purpose? For that, I always talk of a very, very simple exercise. Imagine you are dead. God forbid that you are not. Imagine you are dead, and all your relatives, close, loved ones, friends, everybody is standing around your uh, uh, dead body to give the last for the last passage, for the last journey. And when they are standing there, what do you think they should be talking about you? Is what I call as a deathbed exercise. So you think of that and find out what is it that they're going to be talking about you, and based on that, you try to derive your purpose. And maybe you should be doing that in your early 20s or maybe mid 20s, because very young is not doesn't make any sense. You're really not what should I say, gained sufficient cognitive knowledge to be able to think and to be able to do all that. So mid 20s, late 20s would be the ideal time to be doing that, so that then you have the entire life to mold yourself to go towards that purpose. Now, the purpose could be simple, that he was a nice chap. He really look after his family, and then he brought up his kids, and was a very great neighbor. And that's what you want to do. Fine, be done with it. Or if you say that, look, this guy was outstanding. He became a very, very kind of a guide to everybody. My life changed because of him, and I could really achieve wonders because he guided me to go wherever I have to go. So then you are most possibly more looking at like a guru, like somebody who's kind of a mentor. Or maybe somebody says that, look, this chap was outstanding. He amassed so much amount of wealth. He became a billionaire in his own lifetime, created empire of companies, of organizations. Then you're looking at somebody who is wanting to build an empire, build a company, build an organization, set of companies. So whatever be the thought you get, let it flow, because there is always a connect to the central energy source, is what I call it as. Or we can also name the most common word as God. There is some kind of a connect. So all of us get the intuitions, all of us can get the, and somebody say that it is the calling. All that happens, it's not very strange. And so you find your calling, find your purpose. And once you found the purpose, then you see whatever kind of effect you had and whatever experience you had, whether that really supports your purpose or not. In case it is supporting your purpose, then it is something which is valuable. In case it is not supporting your purpose, then it is not something which is valuable. And that's the conscious choice that we make. When you value and find out what is the value of the effect and the experience you had, that is the third level. Once you have done that, then you try to look at your day. Look at what kind of routines do you have. What is your value system? What do you think is more important? What do you think is less important? And that activity involves some amount of writing, some amount of sitting back, reflecting, introspecting. And that's something which is best done when you have your you time, or me time, when there's nobody disturbing you. You're in a position to think calmly without any pressure or stress or anything like that, to really look at what are your value systems, what do you think is important, what do you think is not important, and how do you see the new experiences which you have had. And this activity, the best done is once a week. Once a week, maybe on Sundays, it's ideal, so that you're fresh to start the week ahead. Once a week, and spend some time and go through these thoughts where you are trying to organize them. And then once you organize them, then you have basically defined that the new experience which you had is more important. Let me talk about a new experience which I had, which was more important. But just to give you an idea, sometime back when I was doing the doHow workshop, I keep doing that. I keep telling you about doHow, right? doHow is a methodology which I've invented precisely for developing a collective mindset, for developing an agile mindset, for changing the mindset. It involves in very, very structured, constructive debate. And as the debate goes on, it's something similar to brainstorming, but very much different from brainstorming. Many people feel that it is like brainstorming, but later they realize that it's totally a different experience altogether. And so in such sessions, I keep doing that every day. If you want, you can also please join. Just visit dohow.in, dohow.in, and then you can go to the solutions, and in the solutions, under solutions, webinar, and then you shall select a webinar when you want to participate. Either if you want to just experience it, there is an experiential session. Otherwise, you want to participate in a full doHow session, then you need to pay up. It's not something very expensive. It's like going to a movie. You can do that and then pay up. I'm sorry for talking about that. Today's intention was not that. I only explained that so that if you want, you can also experience it. During one such sessions, there was this talk about you know somebody said that, look, when we were young, very senior gentleman, senior accomplished gentleman, when we are young, what mattered was just performance. When you are really working and working hard, and then you are really doing your job the best, you always had a good career. You could grow up because people really didn't think of any other requirement. And then later came up, as the world evolved, more and more necessity of being good in speaking, being good in communicating, possessing good soft skills. So as the soft skills increase, then people who are not doing good who were not performing well at all, kept on getting promoted, kept on growing in their career because they had better soft skills, which in today's world, you don't call it as just soft skills. It's a combination of emotional quotient, social quotient. There is a lot of research on that. I'm sure each one of you would have gone through it. You can still go through it. Now, when that happened, I really felt a little jittery. I felt, God, how is it possible? And then suddenly I connected that to what's happened very recently of the very unfortunate suicide of Sushant Singh Rajput, a very, very talented actor. And there are a lot of, what should I say, statements being done by many, and a lot of news and a lot of discussions going on. And yesterday there was a debate in Republic TV. I sometimes watch, not always, on whether it was because of nepotism and some kind of a grouping, some kind of a cabal, is what they call it as in the Bollywood industry. And then the discussion was whether because of that, Sushant Singh Rajput was really bulldozed to not being recognized, and really being felt that he is worthless. And that feeling of worthlessness, feeling of self, what should I say, absolute no worth, self worth being zero, is possibly that led him to commit suicide. Was the line of discussion, line of thought. Now, I believe it's something which is possible in any industry, isn't it? Imagine those guys who are really hardworking, and then if they are really looking at uh, having been doing a lot of good work, and if they don't come up in their life, the best thing is to talk about something of this kind, isn't it? Now the question is that really a reality? I always used to wonder. I always used to wonder, how is it that some people get promoted? Because it's very clear. I wrote a blog this Sunday. If you're interested, you can also please check it out, doHow.in, and blog, and then blog on what kind of skill sets are required. So as you grow in the organization, as you grow higher up in the hierarchy, it's not the technical expertise that matters. It's the ability to be able to inspire people. It's the ability to be able to engage with people, ability to be able to touch the hearts of people, ability to be able to maneuver in situations with tremendous amount of politics and dynamics and still be successful. And for that, the skill set required is different. Now, this gentleman, when he said that, look, olden days it was just working hard, and then you could succeed, and nowadays it's different. You need to be having a lot of flamboyance in the way you present yourself to be able to succeed. And therefore, it's extremely important that one can express himself and also understand and speak very fluently and very, very eloquently. When that happened, I really was asked a question during that same doHow workshop. I keep getting this topic of trying to talk about what kind of effects are going through within me, and what is it that I feel. And I was really feeling stressed out. I was feeling a little tensed up, because why is it that this kind of a feeling is there? Imagine if that kind of a feeling were there in the industry, and it still exists with many. I'm sure many have such feelings, but they're capable of overcoming those feelings and not really taking the drastic step. Thanks a lot to them, and my hearty congratulations to them for having been able to manage themselves better. But when that happened, I felt that, look, it is something which is very, very strange, and that feeling is something which made me start my YouTube live. And that's something which I've been doing now for almost 1 month or 1.5 months. Earlier it was Facebook live, and now it's become YouTube live. So that organizing to really see how important it is, because I felt it's something very important in my life. I really want to make a change in lives of many people, and that's how I founded Samuthána Consultant Coaching LLP, for creating world-class companies and exceptional leaders, and then invented doHow to be able to work as a path to achieving that. And now I've been speaking in YouTube on mindset, because that's what I've realized, that mindset is the key. Now, that is the process of organizing and finding out that your value is very, very high. And what is internalizing? The last one. Internalizing is very simple. Creating a new routine, define a new routine, and start practicing that day in and day out till that becomes a habit. Now, for me, 7:45 in the evening every day, every weekday, not every day. Saturday and Sunday I don't do it, mainly because I also get a break, and you also get a break. It's not a continuous bombarding of. Sometimes I feel nonsense what I speak, so pardon me for that. And I keep doing it because I feel it is something which I have realized, which I have had an enlightenment. And this enlightenment I need to share with everybody. So the last one is to keep on practicing, keep on doing it. And that you only do if there is a conviction that whatever you're doing is going to be beneficial to you. Otherwise, you're going to be doing it because somebody is behind you. And that won't work. That really won't work. Imagine trying to lose weight. How many of you have tried so many times and not been able to lose weight? Because the drive for losing weight was truly not internal, it was external. And if it is truly internal, believe me, there is not a single human being on this earth who can't achieve that, because all of us have the same willpower. And that willpower comes basically because of these four levels: receiving, responding, valuing what the effects are, organizing them. So that becomes more important. When your mind recognizes that it is more important, mind is always there to save you, mind is always there to protect you, mind is always there to ensure that you survive. And therefore mind would never go against you. But the important thing is the mind has to recognize that what you experienced is something very, very important. And that is the conscious activity of organizing, and then internalizing is just practicing. So with that, we come to the end of today's session, and also the conclusion of Bloom's taxonomy of three domains: cognitive, affective, and psychomotor, and a very detailed explanation of affective domain in the way I perceive it. Again, my reality, it is my mindset. You can always share your thoughts. So let's exchange, find out what is common, what is not common, and find out to evolve a collective mindset to be able to make a difference in this world and create a better life for everyone. With that, I come to the end. And before going, as usual, I request you to do that simple exercise of talking to your neighbors, friends, colleagues, and relatives on their perception of the reality of people to people interactions post COVID-19 lockdown, and what you imagine and believe their perceptions would be. Try to find commonalities and differences and start a dialogue to evolve a common collective mindset. Thanks a lot for watching. For those of you in India, a very happy evening. And for those of you outside India, a great day ahead. See you tomorrow. Thank you. Goodbye.